President Donald Trump's coming to the defense of Michael Flynn less than 2 days after asking for Flynn's resignation as the national security advisor. The president now says Flynn was treated, in the president's words, quote, very unfairly by the, quote, fake media. Let's bring in our experts. Dana, this whole notion of one day the White House says Flynn was fired because they lost confidence in him, they lost trust in him. Today the president is saying he's a wonderful guy, and it's the fake media and the intelligence agencies for illegally leaking all this information that's to blame.
Right, and that's just not true. It's just absolutely not true. We listened to the White House press secretary for the entirety of his press conference yesterday talk about the fact that the president and the vice president lost trust in their national security advisor. That is why they asked for his resignation. And look, the fact of the matter is, I'm reporting tonight with Jim Sciutto that the Defense Intelligence Agency has asked Michael Flynn, has suspended his his security clearance while they're investigating. That doesn't happen because of the fake media. That happens because there's concern about something that he did.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. A guy like this, with his experience having his security clearances even temporarily revoked, suspended, that's a big deal. The president, in a tweet, Nia, he denied CNN's report. He called it conspiracy theories, but just an hour or so later, he tweeted that, quote, the real scandal here is that classified information is illegally given out by, quote, intelligence like candy. Is he undermining his own denial by then saying the intelligence is being leaked?
Yeah, he is. I mean, there has really been no, sustained denial from this White House, no, sustained refutation of a lot of the leaks that are coming out. He's got no real strategy here. He has these talking points about leaks, which are similar to talking points that are being picked up by other Republicans and conservative outlets. But again, I think this speaks to the disarray in this White House. There is no communications director. And this is, I mean, in terms of the severity of what is coming out about this administration and possible ties to Russians during the campaign, people who worked around Donald Trump having unusual number of contacts with people, Russian intelligence officials. I mean, this is like DEFCON, right? DEFCON 10. And to see that their main response is tweets from Donald Trump, I think it speaks to their inability to get a story out and really push back in a
Can he be sure, Phil Mudd, that these leaks are coming from the intelligence community, which he continues to smear, or could they be coming from political aides, if you will?
I mean, are you kidding me? This guy has to read a book. I joined government in 1985. Every president comes in office and says, wow, there's gambling in Vegas and people in Washington, D.C. leak. The second challenge you find when you determine that you get leaks like that is not all of them come from the Department of Justice, the FBI, the NSA, people you don't like. Some of them come from within your own house, in this case, the White House. So I think one of the questions we have here is we got a smokescreen. We have a national security advisor who had inappropriate conversations with the Russians and lied to his boss. And the blame goes on the National Security Agency? Are you kidding me? Happens every year. Administration, Wolf, and I think this president is having a hard time accepting that.
And look at this tweet, Phil, quote, this is the president, information is being illegally given to the failing New York Times and Washington Post by the intelligence community, NSA, that's the National Security Agency, and FBI, and then he adds these words, just like Russia. Now, he's not comparing them to Nazi Germany, but he's saying just like Russia. That is a real smear, if you will.
Sort of, but people like me who are inside the business, that have been inside the business for decades, are transitioning within 30 days of a president of the United States taking office from paying attention and being offended by this stuff to realizing that this is the way life works every day and ignoring what the president says. If you're at the CIA or you're at the FBI, you're listening to Mike Pompeo and Jim Comey and saying we have a president of the United States who can't resist kicking us in the ass every day, so you stop paying attention. Meanwhile, you got North Korea popping missiles. You got to figure out how Iran is dealing with nuclear sanctions. You got to figure out what's going to go on with the Palestinians when they heard what the president said from the podium today with Netanyahu. You got real business. So I think people are going to start to say, we're going to ignore this guy.
Yeah, and when he accuses the NSA and the FBI of behaving, as you see, like Russia, that's not necessarily Nazi Germany, as he did the other day, but it's still obviously very serious.
And remember, and Phil knows this better than anybody, they might be desensitized inside the intelligence community to tweets like this, but at the end of the day, the president needs these intelligence operatives to help him do things like what Phil was saying with North Korea. I mean, we're talking about the safety and security of this country and the world, and they need to find a way to work hand in glove, and not for the intelligence community to simply ignore the commander-in-chief.
All right, everybody stand by. There's more information coming in. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.